The Galactic Academy. The Galactic Academy of Studies loomed before Zixera, its crystalline spires reaching towards the purple sky of Centauri Prime. The young Arcturian adjusted her translator implant nervously as she joined the throng of diverse alien species entering the prestigious institution. It was her first day as a transfer student, and the excitement of studying at the galaxy's premier center for interspecies education mingled with anxiety about being so far from home. As Zixera navigated the crowded hallways, her four eyes darted from one alien form to another. Gelatinous blobulon students oozed along beside towering gigantons, while airborne Zephyrians flitted overhead. The variety of life forms was dizzying, each adapted to their own unique homeworlds. Yet one species was conspicuously absent: humans. Zixera had only heard stories about the inhabitants of Earth, a planet classified as a death world due to its extreme conditions and dangerous fauna. Humans were a source of both fascination and fear throughout the galaxy, known for their resilience and ingenuity, but also for their volatile nature and capacity for violence. Lost in thought, Zixera nearly collided with the amorphous purple mass. "Watch where you're going, tentacle face." The blobulon gurgled irritably. "I'm so sorry," Zixera stammered, her skin flushing a deep blue in embarrassment. A lanky, green-skinned Verdantian steadied her with one of its vine-like appendages. "Don't mind Glix," it said kindly. "First-day jitters got your nerves all twisted." Zixera nodded gratefully. "I'm Zixera, transfer student from Arcturus IV. Phylos," the Verdantian replied. "Come on, looks like we're headed to the same xenobiology lecture. I'll show you the way." As they walked, Phylos pointed out various features of the academy. "That's the zero-gravity gymnasium, and over there is the multi-atmospheric cafeteria. Oh, and see that reinforced bunker. That's where they hold the human studies classes." Zixera's antenna perked up with interest. Human studies? Do they actually have humans here at the academy? Phylos waved a leafy appendage dismissively. "Nah, it's all theoretical. Can you imagine a real human here? They'd probably accidentally destroy half the campus before lunchtime. Are they really that dangerous?" Zixera asked, her voice a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. "Let's just say there's a reason their planet is classified as a death world," Phylos replied. "I heard their idea of a relaxing hobby is hurling themselves off cliffs with nothing but a piece of fabric to slow their fall. They call it parachuting or something like that." Zixera's exoskeleton quivered at the thought. But why would any sentient species engage in such risky behavior? Before Phylos could answer, they arrived at the lecture hall. The room was designed to accommodate a wide variety of alien physiologies, with various types of seating, atmospheric bubbles, and even aquatic tanks for water-breathing species. As they settled into their spots, the lecturer, a multi-eyed omnigalactic, floated to the center of the room. "Welcome, students, to Advanced Xenobiology. I am Professor Xanthrop. Today, we begin our unit on carbon-based life forms from high-gravity worlds." Holographic displays flickered to life around the room, showing various alien species. Zixera leaned forward, captivated by the diversity of life forms. While many carbon-based species exhibit remarkable adaptations, Xanthrop continued, none have puzzled and intrigued xenobiologists quite like the humans of Earth. A collective murmur rippled through the class at the mention of humans. The hologram shifted to display a bipedal figure with pale skin and dark hair. Humans evolved on a planet with high gravity, extreme temperature variations, and an atmosphere rich in corrosive oxygen. These conditions forged a species of unprecedented durability and adaptability. Zixera raised one of her appendages. "Professor, is it true that humans engage in recreational activities that risk bodily harm?" Xanthrop's eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of amusement. "Indeed, Zixera, humans have a unique relationship with danger. They not only survive in hostile environments, but often seek out perilous situations for what they call thrills or adventure. The class buzzed with a mixture of disbelief and fascination. A Jagraxian student's exoskeleton rattled as it asked, "But surely they must have evolved beyond such primitive instincts." "On the contrary," Xanthrop replied, "humans have harnessed these instincts, using them to drive innovation and exploration. Their technology, while primitive by galactic standards, has advanced at an unprecedented rate." The hologram shifted again, displaying various human inventions and achievements. Zixera watched in awe as images of towering skyscrapers, deep-sea submersibles, and primitive spacecraft flashed before her eyes. "But Professor," Philos interjected, "if humans are so adaptable and innovative, why haven't they joined the galactic community? Are they not advanced enough?" Xanthrop's tentacles writhed thoughtfully. "The truth, students, is more complex. Humans have been deemed too unpredictable, too potentially dangerous to be fully integrated into galactic society. Their capacity for both creation and destruction is unparalleled." A chill ran through the class. Zixera felt a mixture of fear and fascination. How could one species inspire such conflicting emotions? However, Xanthrop continued, "Recent developments have led to a reconsideration of this policy. Which brings me to an exciting announcement." The professor paused dramatically, all eyes focused on the center of the room. "This year, for the first time in the history of the Galactic Academy, we will be welcoming a human exchange student." The lecture hall erupted in a cacophony of shocked exclamations, fearful shrieks, and excited chatter. Zixera's exoskeleton vibrated with a mixture of terror and exhilaration. "Silence, please." Xanthrop's voice cut through the chaos. "I understand this news may be unsettling, but I assure you, extensive safety measures have been put in place. This is an unprecedented opportunity for us to learn about humans firsthand." As the professor began explaining the details of the exchange program, Zixera's mind raced. A real, live human, here at the Academy. The notion was both thrilling and terrifying. Philos leaned over, their leaves rustling anxiously. "Can you believe it? A human here. What if they bring weapons?" Zixera's antenna twitched thoughtfully. "But isn't that the point? To learn about them, to understand them. Maybe they're not as dangerous as we've been led to believe. Or maybe they're worse," Philos muttered. As the class continued, Zixera found it hard to concentrate on the lecture. Her thoughts kept drifting to the impending arrival of the human student. What would they be like? Would they really be as dangerous and unpredictable as everyone said? One thing was certain, life at the Galactic Academy was about to get a lot more interesting. As the lecture drew to a close, Professor Xanthrop made one final announcement. "The human exchange student will be arriving next week. I expect all of you to treat them with the same respect and courtesy you would show any other student. Remember, this is a learning opportunity for all of us." Zixera left the lecture hall with her mind buzzing. As she made her way to her next class, she couldn't help but feel that she was on the brink of something momentous. The galaxy was about to change, and she had a front-row seat to watch it unfold. Little did she know just how right she was, or how soon that change would come. The human exchange student. The week leading up to the human's arrival passed in a blur of excited speculation and nervous preparation. The academy buzzed with rumors, each more outlandish than the last. Some students claimed the human would arrive in a battlesuit capable of leveling cities, while others insisted they'd be contained in a force field for everyone's safety. Zixera found herself spending more time in the library, poring over what little verified information was available about humans. The more she learned, the more fascinated she became. Humans had a rich history of overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds, of pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Yet they also had a dark side, capable of terrible destruction and cruelty. On the morning of the human's scheduled arrival, Zixera arrived early at the Academy's main atrium. A large crowd had already gathered, a mix of curious students and cautious security personnel. Philos waved her over with a leafy appendage. "Can you believe this?" Philos whispered, their leaves rustling with excitement. I heard they had to reinforce the entire East Wing to withstand human levels of strength. Before Zixera could respond, a hush fell over the crowd. The massive doors of the atrium slid open, revealing a surprisingly ordinary-looking figure. The human who walked in was shorter than Zixera had expected, with pale skin and a mop of dark hair. They wore a simple outfit that looked almost comically fragile compared to the protective exoskeletons and reinforced biosuits of the other students. Professor Xanthrop floated forward to greet the newcomer. "Welcome to the Galactic Academy, Alex. We're honored to have you join us." The human, Alex, smiled, a gesture that exposed a row of blunt teeth. Several nearby students instinctively recoiled. "Thank you, Professor. I'm excited to be here." As Alex began to mingle with the crowd, Zixera was struck by how normal they seemed. There was no force field, no battle armor, just a being who looked almost fragile compared to many of the alien species present. Gathering her courage, Zixera approached Alex. "Hello," she said, her translator implant working overtime to produce the harsh sounds of human speech. "I'm Zixera. Welcome to the Academy." Alex's face lit up. "Hi, Zixera. It's great to meet you. I love your exoskeleton. The iridescence is beautiful." Zixera's exoskeleton flushed a deep blue at the compliment. "Thank you. I hope you don't mind me asking, but is it true that humans engage in activities called extreme sports for fun?" Alex laughed, a sound that made several nearby aliens jump. "Oh yeah, we love that stuff. Skydiving, bungee jumping, free solo climbing. The more adrenaline, the better." "But why?" Philos interjected, unable to contain their curiosity. "Isn't your species' survival instinct strong enough to prevent such reckless behavior?" "It's not about ignoring our survival instinct," Alex explained. "It's about pushing our limits, feeling alive. There's something exhilarating about facing your fears and overcoming them." As Alex continued to chat with the growing crowd of curious aliens, Zixera found herself drawn in by their enthusiasm and openness. The human didn't seem dangerous at all, just different, with a unique perspective on life. Over the next few days, Alex's presence at the academy caused both excitement and consternation. In physics class, they accidentally crushed a desk designed to withstand the strength of a Digraxian, leading to a fascinating discussion about human muscle density and the effects of Earth's gravity. In the cafeteria, Alex's ability to consume foods that would be toxic to most other species led to a minor panic until it was explained that humans had evolved to detoxify a wide range of substances. This turned into an impromptu lecture on human digestive systems and their role in Earth's ecological balance. But it was in combat training class that Alex truly shocked everyone. The class, designed to teach nonviolent conflict resolution and defensive techniques, took an unexpected turn when Alex volunteered for a demonstration. The instructor, a battle-hardened Krexkar warrior, had been explaining the importance of using an opponent's strength against them. "Even the strongest attacker can be defeated with proper technique," he growled. "Can I try?" Alex asked, stepping forward. The Krexkar laughed, a sound like grinding rocks. "Very well, human. Attack me with all your strength." What happened next would be talked about for years to come. Alex moved with a speed that belied their seemingly fragile form. The Krexkar, caught off guard, found himself flipped over Alex's shoulder and slammed onto the mat with a resounding thud. The class fell silent, staring in disbelief. The Krexkar, known for his unshakable composure, looked genuinely shocked. "Sorry," Alex said, offering a hand to help the instructor up. "I probably should have mentioned I have a black belt in judo." "Extraordinary," the Krexkar muttered, accepting Alex's help. "It seems we have much to learn from you, human." As word of Alex's martial arts prowess spread through the academy, the atmosphere began to shift. Fear and suspicion gave way to curiosity and respect. Students from all species sought out Alex, eager to learn more about human culture, history, and capabilities. Zixera found herself spending more and more time with Alex, fascinated by their stories of Earth and human achievements. She learned about the moon landings, deep-sea exploration, and the human drive to constantly push the boundaries of what was possible. "But don't you ever get scared?" Zixera asked one day as they sat in the Academy's arboretum, surrounded by plants from 100 different worlds. Alex thought for a moment before responding. "Of course we do. Fear is a part of being human. But we've learned to use that fear as a motivator, not a deterrent. It's not about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to face our fears." As Zixera pondered this, an alarm suddenly blared throughout the Academy. Red lights flashed, and a computerized voice echoed through the halls. "Warning. Containment breach in Laboratory 7. All students proceed to designated safe zones immediately." Alex jumped to their feet, eyes wide with a mixture of excitement and concern. "What's in Laboratory 7? Zixera's exoskeleton paled. "That's where they keep the most dangerous specimens for study. But those containment fields are supposed to be unbreakable." As panic began to spread through the Academy, Alex's expression hardened with determination. "Well, I guess it's time to put some of that human bravery to the test. Come on, Zixera. Let's see if we can help." Before Zixera could protest, Alex was already running towards the source of the alarm, leaving the Arcturian with a choice: follow safety protocols, or follow the human into potential danger. With a mix of terror and exhilaration, Zixera made her decision. She raced after Alex, her exoskeleton humming with nervous energy. Whatever was coming, they would face it together, human and alien, united in the face of the unknown. As they rounded the corner towards Laboratory 7, neither of them could have predicted the chaos that awaited them, or how this crisis would change their understanding of each other and the galaxy forever. Weapons demonstration gone wrong. As Alex and Zixera raced towards Laboratory 7, the sounds of chaos grew louder. Panicked shouts and inhuman screeches echoed through the hallways, punctuated by the occasional crash or explosion. "What exactly do they keep in there?" Alex shouted over the din. Zixera's exoskeleton vibrated with fear. Specimens from some of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. Predators, poisonous flora, even some experimental bioweapons. But they're supposed to be securely contained. They rounded the final corner and skidded to a halt. The scene before them was one of utter pandemonium. The reinforced doors of Laboratory 7 had been blown off their hinges, and a swirling vortex of escaped specimens filled the corridor. Tentacled monstrosities slithered along the walls, while floating gas bags that looked deceptively like colorful balloons drifted ominously overhead. In the center of it all, a group of students and security personnel were desperately trying to fend off a pack of snarling, six-legged predators that looked like a nightmarish cross between wolves and reptiles. "Those are Zorgax hunters," Zixera gasped. "Apex predators from the Deathworld Niflheim. Their bite contains a neurotoxin that can paralyze a Gigraxian in seconds." Alex's eyes widened, but instead of retreating, they began to scan the area rapidly. "We need to contain them. What resources do we have?" Zixera was astounded by the humans' calm in the face of such danger. "There's an emergency containment field generator down the hall, but it needs time to charge up. We'd need to hold off the Zorgax for at least 5 minutes. A determined grin spread across Alex's face. 5 minutes. I can work with that. Okay, here's the plan." As Alex quickly outlined their strategy, Zixera felt a mixture of awe and terror. It was audacious, potentially suicidal, and yet, it just might work. "All right, let's do this," Alex shouted, grabbing a fallen piece of metal debris to use as a makeshift weapon. "Zixera, get to that generator and start it up. I'll distract the Zorgax." Before Zixera could protest, Alex was charging towards the fray, waving the metal bar and shouting to draw the attention of the predators. The Zorgax, attracted by the sudden movement and noise, turned their attention to this new, unfamiliar prey. Zixera hesitated for a split second before racing towards the containment field generator. As she worked to activate it, she kept glancing back at the battle unfolding behind her. Alex was a whirlwind of motion, dodging and weaving between the snapping jaws of the Zorgax with an agility that seemed impossible for a species from a high-gravity world. They used the metal bar not just as a weapon, but as a tool, vaulting over the creatures, redirecting their attacks, and even using it to trigger the emergency fire suppression system, creating a temporary barrier of foam between the Zorgax and the other students. How much longer? Alex yelled, narrowly avoiding a swipe from a Zorgax's clawed paw. 3 more minutes. Zixera called back, her appendages working frantically on the generator's controls. Suddenly, one of the floating gas bags drifted too close to Alex. With a loud pop, it burst, releasing a cloud of noxious vapor. Alex stumbled, coughing violently. "Alex!" Zixera cried out in alarm. For a moment, it seemed like the human would fall. The Zorgax, sensing weakness, closed in for the kill. But then, to Zixera's amazement, Alex straightened up, eyes watering but stance firm. "Is that all you've got?" They wheezed, a defiant grin on their face. "I've breathed worse air in Los Angeles." With renewed vigor, Alex re-engaged the predators, keeping them at bay with a combination of acrobatics, quick thinking, and sheer determination. They used the environment to their advantage, toppling shelves to create obstacles, and even managing to trap one Zorgax in an empty specimen container. As the containment field generator hummed to life, Zixera called out, "It's ready. Get clear, Alex." With a final daring leap, Alex vaulted over the snarling pack of Zorgax and sprinted towards Zixera. The moment they cleared the area, Zixera activated the field. A shimmering energy barrier sprang into existence, encapsulating the escaped specimens. The Zorgax hurled themselves against it, but the field held firm. For a moment, there was silence, broken only by the heavy breathing of the survivors. Then, as the realization of what had just happened sank in, cheers erupted from the gathered students and staff. Alex, covered in foam, and looking decidedly worse for wear, turned to Zixera with a triumphant smile. "See, piece of cake." Zixera's exoskeleton cycled through a rainbow of colors as she struggled to process what she had just witnessed. That was incredible. "How did you? I mean, you could have been killed." Alex shrugged, wincing slightly at the movement. "Yeah, but we weren't. Sometimes you have to take risks to save lives. It's what humans do." As medical teams arrived to treat the injured and containment specialists began the process of safely recapturing the escaped specimens, word of Alex's heroics spread through the academy like wildfire. Professor Xanthrop approached, all eyes wide with a mixture of concern and admiration. "Alex, what you did was incredibly dangerous and unbelievably brave. You may very well have saved many lives today." Alex rubbed the back of their neck, looking almost embarrassed by the praise. "I just did what anyone would do in that situation." "No," Zixera said firmly, surprising herself with her vehemence. "What you did was extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it." As the adrenaline of the moment began to fade, the full implications of what had happened started to sink in. The Galactic Academy had just gotten a first-hand demonstration of human capabilities, their strength, their quick thinking, and their willingness to face danger head-on. For many of the alien students, it was a revelation. Humans weren't just dangerous because of their physical capabilities or their advanced weapons. They were dangerous and invaluable because of their courage, their adaptability, and their unwavering determination in the face of adversity. As Alex was led away to the medical bay for a checkup, Zixera found herself reevaluating everything she thought she knew about humans. They were indeed a species to be reckoned with, but perhaps not in the way she had initially feared. The galaxy, she realized, was about to change, and humans, for better or worse, would be at the center of that change. Little did she know, The events in Laboratory 7 were just the beginning. The true test of human ingenuity and the future of galactic relations was yet to come. Crisis and collaboration. In the days following the Laboratory 7 incident, the atmosphere at the Galactic Academy shifted dramatically. Alex's heroics had sparked intense debate among students and faculty alike. Some hailed humans as potential saviors, capable of handling crises that other species couldn't. Others worried that this incident only proved how dangerous and unpredictable humans truly were. Zixera found herself caught in the middle of these discussions, often defending Alex and humans in general. "You weren't there," she'd argue. "You didn't see how quickly they assessed the situation, how they improvised solutions on the spot. It was incredible." A week after the incident, the Academy organized a special assembly to address the events and their implications. As students filed into the grand auditorium, the air buzzed with anticipation. Professor Xanthrop floated onto the stage, flanked by several other faculty members, and to everyone's surprise, Alex. Students, faculty, honored guests. Xanthrop began, their multiple eyes scanning the crowd. "The recent events have forced us to reconsider many of our preconceptions about humans and their place in the galactic community." A murmur rippled through the audience. While it's true that humans possess physical capabilities that can be dangerous, they've also demonstrated remarkable problem-solving skills and a willingness to risk their own safety for others. These are qualities that could be invaluable as we face the challenges of our expanding universe. Xanthrop paused, allowing the words to sink in. "To that end, we've decided to expand our human exchange program. We will be welcoming more human students and even some human instructors to share their unique perspectives and skills." The auditorium erupted in a cacophony of reactions, excited cheers, worried mutters, and everything in between. Zixera felt a thrill of excitement. More humans at the Academy. The possibilities were endless. But before anyone could fully process this news, alarms began blaring throughout the auditorium. Red emergency lights flashed, and a computerized voice echoed through the speakers. "Warning! Unidentified vessel approaching. Hostile intent detected. All students and faculty proceed to emergency shelters immediately." Panic swept through the crowd. The Galactic Academy, located on a peaceful academic world, had never faced a military threat before. As students began rushing for the exits, Professor Xanthrop's voice boomed over the chaos. "Remain calm. Proceed to the shelters in an orderly fashion. This is not a drill." As Zixera moved with the crowd, she noticed Alex pushing against the flow, making their way towards the stage. Curiosity overcoming her fear, she followed. "Professor," Alex was saying as Zixera approached, "what kind of defenses does the Academy have?" Xanthrop's tentacles writhed anxiously. "Minimal, I'm afraid. We're an academic institution, not a military installation. We have basic shields, but they won't hold against a determined attack." Alex's brow furrowed in concentration. "What about communications? Can we call for help?" "Our long-range communicators are being jammed," one of the other professors, a Quantox with shimmering crystalline skin, interjected. "We're cut off." "Okay," Alex said, a determined glint in their eye. "Then we'll have to defend ourselves. What resources do we have?" As the professors began listing the Academy's limited assets, Zixera marveled at Alex's calm in the face of crisis. While everyone else was panicking, the human was already formulating a plan. "All right," Alex said after a moment. "Here's what we're going to do. We need to buy time until help can arrive. Professor Xanthrop, gather any students with engineering skills. We're going to modify the Academy's shields. Zixera, I need you to round up anyone with experience in communications or signal processing. We've got to break through that jamming." "What about me?" the Quantox professor asked. Alex grinned. "Professor, how do you feel about turning some of your science equipment into improvised weapons?" Over the next hour, the Galactic Academy transformed into a hive of frenzied activity. Under Alex's guidance, students and faculty from dozens of species worked together in ways they never had before. In the engineering lab, a team led by a Gegraxian student rewired the shield generators, using principles of human military technology to create a modulating frequency it would be harder to penetrate. In the communications center, Zixera and a group of telepathic Zephyrians worked to boost their natural abilities with technology, attempting to break through the jamming and send a distress signal. And in the physics department, the Quantox professor oversaw the conversion of various scientific instruments into a motley array of energy weapons and disruptors. As the hostile ship drew nearer, Alex gathered everyone in the main atrium. The fear was palpable, but there was also a new sense of unity and purpose. "I know you're scared," Alex said, addressing the crowd. "I am too, but look around you. In the past hour, you've accomplished things you never thought possible. You've combined your unique abilities and knowledge in ways that have never been done before. Whatever comes through that door, we face it together." A resounding cheer went up from the assembled aliens. Zixera felt a swell of emotion. This, she realized, was why humans were so remarkable. Not just for their physical abilities or their technology, but for their ability to inspire, to unite, to face impossible odds with unwavering courage. As the first explosions rocked the Academy's shields, Alex turned to Zixera with a grim smile, ready to make some history. Zixera's exoskeleton rippled with a mix of fear and excitement, ready as I'll ever be. Together, human and alien, they turned to face the oncoming threat. Whatever the outcome, the galaxy would never be the same again. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations as a turning point in galactic history. It was the day when species from across the universe, led by a single human exchange student, stood together against a common threat and discovered that their combined strengths were greater than the sum of their parts. A new perspective. The battle for the Galactic Academy raged for hours, a chaotic symphony of energy blasts, shield impacts, and the combined efforts of dozens of alien species working in harmony. At the center of it all was Alex, coordinating defense efforts, rallying spirits, and often diving into the thickest parts of the fight themselves. Zixera found herself constantly amazed by the humans' adaptability and quick thinking. When the shields began to fail, Alex orchestrated a brilliantly unorthodox plan, involving Blobulon students using their amorphous bodies to physically plug hull breaches. When the attackers deployed sonic weapons that incapacitated several species, Alex improvised noise-canceling devices using equipment from the Academy's music department. As the conflict stretched on, it became clear that the attackers, revealed to be a fringe group of anti-alien extremists from a distant sector, had underestimated the Academy's resolve. The diverse skills of the students and faculty, combined with Alex's strategic guidance, proved to be a formidable defense. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of tension and fear, a fleet of galactic peacekeeping ships dropped out of hyperspace, responding to the distress call that Zixera and her team had managed to send. The attackers, realizing they were outmatched, quickly surrendered. In the aftermath of the battle, as the adrenaline faded, and the full impact of what had transpired began to sink in, Zixera found Alex sitting alone in the wreckage of the main atrium, looking uncharacteristically somber. "Alex," she approached cautiously, "are you all right?" The human looked up, a weary smile crossing their face. "Hey, Zixera. Yeah, I'm okay. Just processing, I guess." Zixera settled beside them, her exoskeleton shifting colors in a soothing pattern. "You were amazing out there. You saved us all." Alex shook their head. "No, we saved ourselves. All of us together. I just helped point everyone in the right direction." "But that's exactly it," Zixera exclaimed. "Don't you see? That's what makes humans so remarkable. Not just your physical abilities or your technology, but your leadership, your ability to unite diverse groups and inspire them to greatness." Alex pondered this for a moment. Maybe. But I think what today really showed is the potential of all of us working together. Humans, Arcturians, Blobulans, Zephyrians, we're all stronger when we combine our strengths. As they sat there, surrounded by the remnants of battle and the beginnings of reconstruction, Zixera realized that her perception of humans, and indeed of the entire galaxy, had fundamentally changed. In the days that followed, the Galactic Academy became a symbol of unity and cooperation. News of the battle spread rapidly across the galaxy, challenging long-held perceptions about humans and their role in the cosmic community. The Academy's governing board, recognizing the value of the lessons learned, made sweeping changes to the curriculum. New classes were introduced focusing on interspecies cooperation, adaptive problem-solving, and crisis management. The Human Exchange Program was expanded dramatically, with students and instructors from Earth becoming a common sight in the hallways. But perhaps the most significant change was in the attitudes of the students themselves. Species that had once kept to their own kind now mingled freely, eager to learn from each other's unique perspectives and abilities. The rigid hierarchies and prejudices that had long defined galactic society began to crumble in the face of this new, collaborative spirit. Zixera, once unsure of her place in the galaxy, found herself thriving in this new environment. She became a leader in promoting interspecies understanding, often working alongside Alex to bridge the gaps between different cultures and biologies. As for Alex, they became something of a celebrity both at the Academy and throughout the galaxy. But true to their nature, they used this platform not for personal gain, but to further the cause of unity and mutual respect among all sentient species. One afternoon, about a year after the battle, Zixera found Alex in the newly rebuilt atrium, surrounded by a diverse group of students all eagerly listening to a story about Earth. "You know," Alex was saying, "back home, we have this old saying, 'The whole is greater than the sum of its parts.' I never fully understood what that meant until I came here, until I saw all of us working together." Zixera felt a wave of warmth wash over her. This, she realized, was the true gift the humans had brought to the galaxy. Not their strength, not their technology, but their vision of a universe where diversity was celebrated, where different species could come together to create something greater than any could achieve alone. As she joined the group, adding her own perspectives to the discussion, Zixera knew that the galaxy was entering a new era. There would be challenges ahead, certainly. Old prejudices wouldn't disappear overnight, and there would always be those who feared change. But looking around at this microcosm of galactic cooperation, dozens of species from worlds light years apart, all engaged in passionate, friendly debate, she couldn't help but feel optimistic about the future. The Human Exchange Program, which had started as a controversial experiment, had become a catalyst for a galactic renaissance. And Zixera, along with countless others, was eager to see where this new path would lead. As the discussion flowed around her, touching on topics from Earth cuisine to Zephyrian poetry, Zixera caught Alex's eye. The human winked, a gesture she had come to understand meant shared understanding.